What's good, fam? I'm good. Y'all good? That's good. All right, look, I'm happy because I'm out here reviewing one of the greatest animes I've ever seen. If you read the title of this video, then you know I'm talking about Parasyte. Yes. This is not a new anime. This has been out for a long time. My friends have been telling me I need to watch it, and I just been slipping, but I finally watched it. So just sit back and let's get through this review together. All right, hit the intro. Okay, so we just gonna jump straight in. Okay, so look, we start the episode. I'm talking about episode 1, and they immediately, throwing some off the wall shit at me because we see like this husband. I assume he eats his wife whole head off, and I'm just like, what am I watching? You know what I'm saying? I'm at this point, I'm just wondering like, what am I watching? And then, we get through and we see the day, talking about the news about parasites or whatever, and we get through. And I guess we see the main cast because, we see them in the intro, so I kind of am already familiar. So we see Murano, and then we see Shinichi. We see Shinichi walking to school, and, they sprinkle a little romance in there. I'm a romance type of guy, so, they sprinkle a little romance when Murano pulled up on him and she tried to, like, karate chop the back of his head, but he caught it, without looking. So already I'm like, hold up, he don't even look like the type, like he got the glasses, he a nerd. I'm thinking like, okay, what's going on here, But, and then, he talking to her, and then I don't know, he just grabbed her boob, and, she slapped the hell out of him. But I'm just wondering, like, what's going on with this man, like, obviously, like, I seen the intro, so I know something's up with his hand, but I'm just like, I want to know, like, how is this going to play out or whatever. So, he's going through the day, and he walking home, because he said he felt sick because he knows something going on with his hand. So he walking home, and we see this little girl running in the street after a ball. And this man, he pulled an Edward from Twilight. He put his hand and like stopped the car. And I'm just like, damn, that was cool. You know what I'm saying? So we know like something's up with his hand, but we just haven't got the explanation. And after that, we kind of, after he stopped the car, we get the explanation where the night before, we see Migi, which is the parasite, try to take over his body. And, she tried to go in his ear, but he had his earphones in. So she had to go, she had to go in through his nose. But, couldn't because, he woke up in time. Which is, I couldn't imagine. Like, could y'all imagine being sleeping in a parasite? You're like, oh, God. Couldn't imagine. But yeah, so he felt that way, and he just, like, jumped in his wrist or whatever. Like, drilled a hole into his wrist and got in that way. And he had to, like, use his headphone which is some quick thinking. He had to use his headphone to, like, tie up his arms so that this thing won't get in his body. And, Migi failed in taking over his whole body, which is a parasite's job. So, at this point, I'm just like, I don't know. And it's just crazy to me. Because, like, after that happened, like, he down at the dinner table with his family, and they start hearing about these mincemeat murders. And we start seeing, like, parasites are really out here killing people. So, he finally, like, cracked down, like, hold up, what's going on with, he started talking to his hand more, Migi, and, trying to figure out what the hell's going on and how he got here. But Migi don't even know, you know what I'm saying? So then, Migi say he senses, like, someone nearby of his kind. So they follow him, and it was just crazy, man. Like, I don't know. If I seen this in real life, I wouldn't know it's just too much. But we seen, like, a dog eating another dog in the alley. And, like, he just, like, started talking and, like, opened his face up and, like, started flying and stuff. And it was just crazy. Because, they had to dip up out of there because, he didn't want to fight. It was just crazy. So he ran away. And Migi ended up having to kill the dog. And that part was crazy to me. Like, Migi, him and Migi go on their everyday life. And, a few days pass and he see another person. Or he senses another one of his kind. And it's like an actual human. So they kind of gotta, they dip away to a private area so they can fight him. And Migi finds out that he can relocate himself onto another parasite's body to make him stronger, which is, crazy. And it's just to hear that, because you know we learned about a character who has many parasites inside of him. You see how strong he is. So if Migi would have just did that, you know, he would have been a lot stronger. But like I said, he wasn't sure about that, you know, and you know, so basically Migi took out that dude too with ease, because he had lost a lot of blood. And you know, a few days ago, you know, I gotta sprinkle that romance in there, you know, because I'm a romance guy. But a few days go by and we see what's her name, Murano and Shinichi walking, and they see like a cat in the sandbox, and he's like, this is some school shooter shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're throwing rocks at a cat. Like, you need counseling, you know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all ever see something like that, y'all need to get that person help, because that is if you ain't got enough heart to not do that shit, you're a school shooter, you know what I'm saying? And you probably will like kill a human, you know. So those are the people you gotta watch out for. But anyway, Shinichi like pulled up, and you know, he went over there and pulled the cat out and told him straight up like, man, that ain't cool. And you know, Murano, she got the cheese, and you know, she liked that, you know, she was getting all happy like, oh no, when Shinichi get brave, you know. And then they like try to, you know, throw rocks at Shinichi while he was looking, and he caught him, you know, like, you know, behind his hand. That was cool as hell. But you know, you can tell Murano was definitely feeling him after that, because after that she was like walking with him, and they was like walking away, and she like started to hold his hand, but she like, it just didn't feel right to her, you know. So she ended up switching hands, and you know, they walked home. He walked her home and stuff like that. So you know, like I said, it's the little things that just make you smile, and that was one of the ones that made me smile. So, and like, this show is very fast paced, so like, I'm kind of really telling y'all the story, and this stuff just be happening so quick, but it's good. Y'all need to check it out if you watch this video and you haven't seen Parasyte yet. Like, just hold off before watching this video and go watch that real quick and come back. But anyway, so the next day at school, Migi senses another one of his kind, and it's Reiko Tamura, that's her name, and like, you know, they in the auditorium, and Migi telling him not to make eye contact. And what did Shinichi do? This man made eye contact, you know, like, she looked vicious, like she had her hair spiked out, you know what I'm saying? And it was just crazy. She ended up being like his teacher, his math teacher. And you know, after like she seen and like realized that there was another parasite, she let him know like, I ain't trying to kill you, but meet me after school. I got to talk to you about some things. So they met at this like coffee shop, and he met Mr. A, which is another parasite guy. You know, he was tweaking the whole dinner, and she ended up telling him that like she was pregnant, and she was wondering like what's inside of her, and he had to let her know it's a baby. And then like, you know, he was pissed. He like, man, look, I ain't gotta sit here and listen to this. And he got up and left. And the next day, this man pulled up at the school wanting all the smoke, because he just came in like killing teachers. They're like, hey buddy, you know, and trying to stop him, and he just like sliced them up. And like Shinichi, you know, he like, damn, I gotta fight this man. So like, you know, he got to run away from all the students to kind of seclude himself so he don't put nobody else in danger. So he run up to one of the top floors and like barricade himself in some desk or whatever. And you know, Mr. A pull up on him and they fight. And this time they had to like, since Mr. A cannot sense Shinichi actually had to help with the fight. He couldn't just depend on Migi like he did for the rest of them. So you know, he gave him like, you know, Migi cut off a desk and gave him the metal parts for him to stab him straight in the heart. And that's just what he did. But it didn't kill him, because he stopped he pushed the whatchamacallit back and like stopped the bleeding. And you know, he was walking away trying to look for a new host, or he actually looked for Reiko Tamura. That's what he was looking for. And like, he was like, damn, I sense her, she's getting close, she's in here. He opened the door, you know, Reiko had them grenades ready, not grenades, but it was like air. She had them ready for him. I can't remember what it was something, but she had it ready for him, and she blew him straight up, you know what I'm saying? She like, just got obliterated. And then, you know, they got home, you know, he got home, and his parents is like, I want to, you know, Shinichi okay and all that. And then that's where we learn about, like a little bit about their backstory. The mom, where like, she burnt her hand because Shinichi was not listening. And look, if you got kids, like, if you tell them to wait, they need to wait. And this is the reason, perfect example. This man almost killed himself just because he didn't know how to wait. His mom said, wait, let me finish washing these dishes and I'll get it for you. And this man took it upon himself to go up there, grab in, and fall, hit the stove, and the whole thing of boiling water or miso soup. Well, she was cooking something, I think it was yellow. So I don't know if it was miso soup or what, but it was like basically it was gonna fall on his head and he would have died basically. And all that could have been resolved if he just listened. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't listen, you know. So that right there kind of pissed me off. And then, you know, the dad had to hit him on the head. It was like, you know, your mom's hurting more than you. And then, you know, the parents tell them about a trip that they want to go on, because, you know, they ain't been able to get out. They've been so focused on raising him the whole life, so they never really got to do that. So they wanted to do that now that he's, you know, 18. And he, like, at first he wasn't going for it. You know, he was like, nah, I ain't, y'all don't need to go, you know. And then he talked to Miggy, and Miggy was like, you know, they should probably go, you know. And they ended up going. And it sucked because, you know, they went, and, you know, when you see somebody's backstory, essentially, and like the way that they was building up Shinichi and his mom's relationship, you know, they weren't emphasizing like the father in it. It was just the mom. So me and my girl was kind of already looking like, that ain't good. You know, the mincemeat murders. Now y'all want to go out of town at a time like this? Like, then they showed the backstory. Look, that's 3 red flags right there, you know. So we already kind of knew. We were scared for it to happen. We was hoping it wasn't the mom, you know. Like, he can't lose his mom, you know. So it was just crazy. So the next day, Shinichi walking to school, and he see those some bullies like beating up one of his haters in the back. You know, like, I know I skipped this part because it really wasn't that important, but like back in like an earlier time, like one of the first 2 episodes, it was like a dude. He was like, he wanted Murano since middle school, and, you know, he was basically trying to bully Shinichi. So the tables have turned. This man getting beat up, and Shinichi pulled up and was like, hey, y'all need to leave him alone or whatever. And then they proceeded to beating the hell out of Shinichi. And that's where we meet Kana. Yeah, Kana. That's where we meet Kana. And like I said, I'm gonna get back to her. You know, she locked eyes with Shinichi, and that's where we kind of we knew something was odd about her. You know, like, you know, like eventually he started. I guess they got mad at him for like sticking up to them, so they proceeded to bully Shinichi. So Murano and Shinichi walking home, and they just straight up grabbed her, you know, popped on him and grabbed her. And like, I don't know what they was trying to do. They was like, we'll take good care of her. And, you know, when they say stuff like that, it's like, y'all on that shit. Like, come on now, y'all some goofies, you know. So, you know, Shinichi, he was trying his best, trying to fight him off. It was like too many of them. Granted, he was getting beat up by one of the dudes. Even if he made it past him, he really wouldn't be able. But the fact that he tried just, you know, made me feel good inside. Like, hey, man, get your girl, you know. That's your girl, you know what I'm saying? So it was good on that part. And then, like, some other dudes pulled up to help Shinichi out. It's crazy because, like, Shinichi, like, he really didn't want to go all out because he knew Migi killed him. And, like, he was like, before that, the people got there, he was like holding his hand, and Migi like had the blades out. You know, he was finna. Migi, you know, Migi about action. Period. He gonna slice you up. You know, but you know, the dudes came and saved him, so Migi didn't have to show himself. But it was finna get crazy. You know, and then, you know, he went back home, and this is the part where it gets bad. You know, like he sees his mom get killed, and it's sad because like they taking pictures. And like, the dude just jumped out of nowhere and just like sliced her head off. And yeah, like that's when the mom ended up coming back to the house the next day. And, you know, Migi was telling him, like, I sensed one of my kind coming straight to your house. You know, it didn't register in his head because he was in denial. But like, he seen his mom, and like, Migi was telling him, like, dude, that's not your mom. Like, we need to go, you know. But he was like, Mom, you know, and he even drew the knife on Migi and was like, dude, shut up if I cut you off, you know what I'm saying? And Migi was just shook, you know, because he couldn't do nothing. And then that's when the mom just ended up like separating her head and like stabbing him straight in the heart. And, you know, he took him straight out. And he was down for the count for a few days. And Migi had to end up merging himself with him so he can stay alive, basically. Because Migi didn't want to die either, because if Shinichi died, then Migi died. So he merged with him to keep him alive. And that's when he got the phone call from his dad saying he at this hospital and can he bring him some clothes. And you know, he went over there and he was basically like, before the mom, like after she stabbed him and left, she said she's going back to kill her dad because she thought he had already died or whatever. So she was going back to get him. So Shinichi like got his clothes and was like, you know, I'm gonna have to stay out here and protect my dad. I can't lose both of my parents. So he, you know, he protecting his dad. And my bad, y'all. My phone's finna die, so I had to hurry and get a charger because I don't want to, you know, to cut off. So my bad on that. Usually I'm more prepared than this, but you know, stuff happens, you know. Not perfect. But yeah, so where I leave off at. So yeah, he's protecting the hospital, and you know, he's sitting out there, and like Mickey's like, I sent somebody. And this is where we really see like the merge and like the effects of Mickey merging with him, because like this man took off. I'm talking about like he was gone, and he like made it to a wall. He just like, it was like, I don't know how tall. It was tall as wall. Like if y'all seen Promised Neverland, it was like that tall. But he jumped up like on top of that mud, and he was like chasing. He trying to, you know, he been trying to avenge his mom. Like he got to kill the thing that's taking over his mom's body, even though that's hard. It's like, I can't just have you out here walking around as my mom, like everything cool, you know, like I gotta kill you. So, but he thought it was his mom, but it's actually Uda, which is another dude that's just like him, except for his hand ain't taking over, it's his mouth, which is kind of distracting. Like I would hate for like a parasite to take over my mouth, because the man be talking for him, and it just don't, it looks nasty, you know. Like y'all see, it looks nasty, you know. So, you know, they chop it up, and he lets him know like, hey, we gotta go back to the hospital. I really gotta protect the hospital. And that's when they sense the actual mom, and like, you know, they try to take her out. But you know, Shinichi, he doing good at first, but like right before like he finna do the final kill, like the mom like holds the hand up, and he sees the scar, and he gets there and he starts to hesitate. And that's when Uda comes in with Uda and Jaw. I think his name Jaw. So Jaw come in and get the final kill, like stab him dead in the heart, you know. And then, you know, like that's the end of that, you know, and the mom falls over into the water. And the dad and Shinichi come back there to kind of as like a burial for their mom, because that's where they lost her at or whatever. And they just like, you know, standing there talking and stuff. And you kind of see like the dad is really messed up behind this, because like they go home and, you know, he drinking his life away, and he snap on Shinichi, because he's like, damn, like you ain't got no heart, your mom just died, and you over here talking about getting a maid, like get the fuck out of my face, man. You know, he pissed. He like, he told him straight up, like, you heartless, bruh. And you know, Shinichi, like, he's been hearing that from everybody. You know, Murano literally asked him, is he Shinichi Uzumo or Izumo? Or, I forgot his last name, but she asked him, is he Shinichi? And like at first, like, I didn't know, like, why are you asking him this every time you come in? Like, I would get pissed. And it was funny because he actually snapped on her ass one good time. Like, he told her ass, shut up. You know, like, I'm sure anybody would get tired of motherfucker just come in your face all the time and just be like, are you Shinichi? You know, or are you? You're gonna be like, bruh, yes. But I understand why she asked that, because it give us the flashback, and it's like how they first met, you know, and like it's kind of like a little cute thing. Like when she first met, she was like, are you Shinichi? Blah blah blah. Izumi, I think. And he was like, yeah, you know, and she like, we was in Amsterdam together, and you know, she wanted to be friends. So that's like a good callback to how they first met. And that's when, you know, that was a flashback. So we fast forward a little bit, and we see another dude, his name Shimato, and I think this name, he's like basically like the teenager parasite that started going to his school. And Yuko, which is Murano, one of Murano's best friends, like she developed a crush for him, you know. And she just started doing the most. She started like following him, and you know, following him, and you know, just doing stuff, you know. And then she kind of like she had like a conversation with her brother about the parasites, and she began to suspect the old dude. And like we seen it because like somebody threw a baseball and it landed on the dude's face, and his face was like flat. And she was shook. She was like, hold up, what the fuck, you know. But here's what I don't understand. Like, you see that this man, like, you see a baseball hit this man in the face, and his face is smushed, and, like, it grows back or whatever. Why would you, the next day, invite him in a private classroom and talk to him and call him out on being a parasite? Why would you do that and think you're going to live? Honestly, they should have killed her right then and there. Like, I honestly don't understand why they didn't kill her, you know, because, like, you asked for that. You know, that's just like knowing somebody's a killer and you asking them questions. You just play it off and leave. You play it off. He didn't even really know of you. She could have just not said it. She could have just went to her brother, had the police just come in and handle this man, you know. That would have been the proper way, and a lot of people probably wouldn't have died if she would have did it that way. But she insisted on calling him out. You know, granted, she poured some chemicals on him, so he was messed up. And, you know, he just started, like, going in. He started killing everybody in the school. Like, he killed a whole bunch of people. He almost killed her best friend, Murano. But Shinichi pulled up on her, and, you know, he picked her up and, like, just dipped. You know, he had to get up out of there because, I don't know, I think Migi was asleep at this time. I'm not sure. But he grabbed Murano and he was running. He jumped out like a 4-story building and, like, you know, landed on his feet. He was just dipping. Like, you can tell, like, he was so relieved to see Murano alive because like he loved her. He did not want to lose her at all. You know what I'm saying? So that was like a nice, you know what I'm saying? It was, you know, he was holding her. You know, he was holding her. And he sat down. And he was like, you know, he didn't say it, but we know that he don't want to lose her basically. So, but honestly, this next part, this is one of my favorite like Parasyte kills, if that makes sense. Like it was just so cool. Like, you know, he picked up, you know, they far away. The Shimato, he on the other building. And, you know, Shinichi, he picks up a rock or something. And, like, we just see his arm. This shit look cool as hell. He just grab his arm. He just do, like, a nice little baseball pitch. And it's just crazy. And, you know, he ended up killing him. So, like, after all that happens, they start this stupid-ass trend of pulling people's hair. Like, does that sound smart? Parasites, you know, after they gathered to do body, they gathered that to, that's how they identified the parasites. But why the hell would it start a trend? Like, honestly, what would you do if you pulled somebody's hair out and seen that they was a parasite? What can you do? So why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? So, like, a lot of people was dying over some stupid shit like that. Even, like, one girl, it was a dude, he was trying to leave. He was like, you know, our date's over, and he was finna leave. But she was like, wait, she was drunk. She was like, before you go. And she pulled his hair out. And he had to kill her because she know now. You know what I'm saying? You should just let the man go. And it wouldn't have been no problems. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if that happens in real life, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't do that. Stop hopping on trends. You know what I'm saying? Stop. Especially stuff like that. If you know people getting killed, you heard about mincemeat murders, why are you gonna do that? What are you gonna do if you find, you know, I'm sorry, that part just pissed me off. Cause you see kids doing this shit and they laughing about it like, but no, bruh. But anyway, so fast forward, we see Goto, you know, this is before he changes his body. Like he pulls up at the Yakuza and this man just strong. So he like, I'm gonna pull up to one of the highest armed gangs in Japan, I think that's where they at. So he pulled up on the Yakuza and he was just like, he went in there and like, first dude was talking that stuff. He smushed that man head in the concrete. He went inside and just like took out like 30 people. I'm talking about he like punching people's head off, stabbing them, and it's just crazy. I'm like, damn, didn't it go? You know, I was like, damn, he cold for real, you know? And all that happened and they seen it on the news and you know, they don't, like he changes his face or whatever, so they can't even identify him no more. But after that, we get like a nice lighthearted episode because it was kind of getting like, damn, it's some heat all the time. So we get you know, they sprinkle that romance back in there. You know, Shinichi take Haruno out on a date. They go to the movies, and you know, it's just nice to see them like all, you know, cute together and all that. And he straight up said like, you know, this touched my heart a little bit. And I think Migi probably heard this since he merged with him, but he was just like, he said this in his head. He was just like, I wish Migi could sleep forever so I can, you know, because he basically saying like, I know my feelings are real for Murano, so I wish Migi can sleep forever so I can just be with her, you know, without no worries, you know. And I was like, man, you know, I wish you could too, but Migi my guy, you know, y'all gonna have to learn to coexist like Migi said. And it was just crazy, you know. And then they kiss, and then that's when Kana pulls up, and you know, she blinded by love. She stalked him every time she can get, she stalks him. And you know, she uses her powers to I mean, she do got like a nice power, but she uses it to saying like she basically like tied to Shinichi, and Murano ain't, so she'll never understand that. So she be pulling up on other people, and Shinichi had to protect her. But this time, like, she pulled up, like she wrapped Shinichi's hair around her finger. Like, she was crazy from the get-go. She wrapped, like, you know, she wrapped his hair around her finger like she was married. She was like, you know, she kissed it. She was like, you know, my love will find you. And she ended up running into a parasite like a dummy right after he told her not to do that. And I'm just like, bro, he just told you not to do that, and you did it anyways. You know, like, how stupid can you be? So she gets killed, and it's just like, bro, you blinded by love, and they got you killed. Like, he don't even love you, bro. Like, y'all could have been partners. You know, y'all could have worked together. I thought that's where it was gonna go, and it could have developed into that. But you know, from the get-go, I've been, you know, Team Murano and Shinichi, you know. But it's still, if she would have like played her role and like, you know, chilled out a little bit, it probably would have worked in her favor. She'd probably still be alive today. She probably would have had a better chance of getting with Shinichi, because if she believed his story, you know, he would have been able to been open with her, you know, something he couldn't be with Murano, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, she was crazy, bro. Like, you know, she died, and it's just like, but after she died though, Shinichi pulled up, and like, we seen how strong this man really is. He punches a dude, Parasyte in the chest, take his heart out, and like throw him into, he throws him into, a wall. And then we find out that Reiko had a baby. this part was so crazy. Like the baby was crying. You know, the babysitter was there, and the babysitter was gonna leave, and the baby was crying. Reiko pulled up on the babysitter. I mean, on the baby, and was like, "Be quiet." And the baby just completely stopped crying. And I was just like, "What the hell?" You know. And like the next day, like he go back to the grave that not the grave, but the place Connor was killed. Like, I mean, I guess he examined some shit or whatever. I don't know what he was doing there. I can't remember. But we see that Reiko hired a detective to stalk him. So the detective had got him on video and got Migi on video. So we see Migi like trying to straight up kill the detective, and he detaching his body and everything and chasing after the detective. And it's just crazy because like I'm just like, bro, people be nosy. But I understand, but I kind of don't. You know, I don't. You know, I don't understand. You know, but Migi was finna kill him. And he ended up getting away or whatever, and they ended up talking to him and telling him about the parasites. And this part was crazy because Bruno pulled up on him, and she want to talk to him. And Shinichi messaged her or called her and was like, "I want to talk to you." So they pull up at the park, and this part really made me understand Shinichi, and I kind of felt for him. You know, I really felt bad for him because you got to think, this man is going through something quite serious. He watching countless people he care about die. He watching random people die, and he feels guilty because he knows, but he just ain't saying nothing. But he can't say nothing because Migi ain't gonna let him say nothing, because Migi like, I gotta think about my life. You know, if they find out this, you know, they're gonna kill us basically. So it's just sad that he was in a park and we see him trying to like, he's finna tell Murano, but like he can't because Migi was right there and woke still. And like right when he was finna tell, like you see Migi like claws finna like, so he trying to hold back because Migi was gonna kill Murano, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just sad, like this man can't even be open with his girl, man. You know, I wouldn't know what to do. If I couldn't even talk to my girl, it's just like, bro, I don't know, bro, you know? And so, you know, they cut ties with the detective, and the parasites ended up blowing up the detective agency because they thought he was there. They blew it up. And then they went to the detective house and like murdered his family. And that part was crazy. I'm like, damn, but he wasn't at his agency, so they kind of just murdered his family. He had to live with that, his wife and his daughter. So it was kind of tough. And I was just like, oh man, you know, it's getting crazy, you know. And then that's when they start to like, not really, the parasites start to not mess with Reiko as much because like they see her human qualities coming out and they just not liking that. You know, some of the parasites don't want change, and Reiko all about change. You know, she's starting to realize things. She carrying a life, so she's kind of starting to understand what matters. You know what I'm saying? Like this, why are we fighting? You know, basically is her mindset, and they not messing with that. So they try to like take her out, but you know, this Reiko Tamari we talking about. You know what I'm saying? She laid the smackdown. She beat all three of them up, and I'm just like, man, she cold. You know. And after she beat him, she go to Shinichi house and like, right, you know, she looking through his pictures and stuff. Like, you know, I think she was trying to look at like a mother-son bond. That's what I think she was trying to get from that. And like, as she was leaving, she ran into Murano, and I'm thinking like, bro, oh man, Murano finna die. I've been thinking she finna die the whole freaking season. Like, I'm just like, oh, she finna die. You know what I'm saying? And then she took it upon herself to follow her. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she's really gonna die. She going to the park, like either she gonna accidentally get shot, Reiko gonna turn up on her. Like, I just didn't know what was gonna happen, to be honest with you. But you know, Reiko ended up talking to Shinichi and telling him like, you know, trying to tell him about parasites in the mayor. You know, she tried to, but you know, you just see like the humans not even care. They know she a parasite, so they just shot her. They ain't even, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't posing no threat. She was holding a baby. They didn't care. They was just shooting. So it kind of begs the question, like, bro, y'all, you know, some of the police officers are monsters too. You know, like she ain't even really doing nothing right now. She ain't trying to fight back nothing. And they wondering like why she not fighting back, but she's not fighting back because she just want peace. You know what I'm saying? She got a baby now, you know what I'm saying? So she gave the baby to Shinichi, and we finally get to see Shinichi cry, you know, because he see Reiko changes his face to his mom, and like you just kind of like, I guess he finally was able to let it all out. He was able to cry, so that was nice, you know. And then, you know, after all that happened, the detectives was wondering, like, what are you doing in the middle of a park with a parasite? So they, you know, they took him into questioning, and they got the origami, which is like a he's a serial killer, and he can kind of, I guess, he has the same powers as Kana, essentially. Like, he can sense, you know, bad people, which they call parasites, you know. So he met up with a lot of people, and, you know, they put a woman in front of him. You know, he had to spank the ham, you know, but then they put Shinichi in front of him, and he got shook. He like, hold up, ain't you? You know, he's like, he got something, you know, something up about him or whatever. So, you know, that happened. So they basically like keeping a hold on Shinichi right now. And then we're introduced to the sergeant, the captain of the little FBI looking people. And I forgot what his name was. But like he asked Shinichi, like, is there a way to take out these things? And Shinichi straight up told him flamethrowers, and he laughed and he was like, look, man, you just need shotgun, you know, some rounds, you know, shoot them straight in the heart or whatever. And so it basically, this episode here, listen, I'm just gonna say this right now. If you made it to this part of the video and you haven't seen Parasyte, this might be a good time to really cut off, because this is when like stuff really turns up, and like you really kind of get fucked up behind this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was kind of shook behind like all this that happened after this. So that's my warning. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're gonna talk about it. So they pull up to City Hall, and you just see a whole bunch of buses, and I'm like, I'm confused. I honestly don't know what's going on. But so what they're doing is they're closing down City Hall because they've got a whim that the mayor is basically, or people around the mayor are parasites or whatever. So they basically pull up and they have people leave like 5 at a time, and like they got like the sensor that can sense if you're a parasite. So people walking through the sensors, and they just like, well, you know, everybody was going through it first, and they're like, damn, is it broken? And then they finally get a good catch, and like you just see like how he like leading them out, and then like they kind of trap the parasite, and like they just like straight up shot her, and I'm just like, dang, you know. And then they keep doing that for a little while, and one of the parasites break the machine, and there's a dude out there. I didn't even think he was a parasite, but he was like, you know, he was like trying to advocate for people, like, man, this is some BS, why y'all doing this? And they just straight up shot him, and it turns out he was a parasite. So the captain, he got mad, and he was like, you know what, we going inside, you know. And granted, when they was inside, everybody was in the lobby, but somehow they let the mayor, you know, and them leave. So they was just pissed. They was like, you know what, we're going. They just start walking away, you know. And when the captain got in there, he shot a nigga. He was like, everybody on the ground, if you get up, I'm gonna shoot you. And one dude actually got up, he was like, this is a BS, you know, I know my rights, you know, I'm a citizen. He straight up shot him, and he wasn't even a parasite. So it was just kind of like, damn, bro, I understand you trying to like exterminate the parasites, but like you just killed a human being. You know what I'm saying? You think it's okay, and it just shows that like they weren't there to protect the human being. They were just trying to exterminate the parasites, and they was gonna do that by any means necessary. You know, so we just see like in the lobby they just kill a whole like pretty much all the parasites that was in the lobby, and then they work their way upstairs, and that's where we see Goto and the mayor, and you know they talking. They're like, "What you gonna do?" The mayor was like, you know, the plan is already, and you know, we too far gone. I'm just gonna go and try to speak my piece. He go this way. He asked Goto, what you gonna do? And Goto was like, you know, I'm gonna watch their battle tactics a little more and have some fun. So I was, you know, I seen that part. I'm like, oh hell, you know what I'm saying? So they, you know, walk up the stairs, and they got Origami with him because he can, you know, sense when, you know, people parasites or not. So he, you know, he called out a few, they got shot, and then like they make it to, they split off, and like the captain's by himself, and he was just like, shoot, you know, if he sees somebody, shoot, you know, and he just was shooting everybody in sight, and he was like, well, how do you know to shoot them? And he was like, if they ain't on the first floor, then they parasite, we're gonna shoot, you know what I'm saying? So he just shooting people, and like you see them break off, and that's when Origami, you know, he see like a couple having sex. You know, and he was like, he had to let them know, like, those are humans. But it's just crazy to think that if he wasn't with them, they probably would have killed those humans. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, fuck, they were just trying to have sex because they knew the world was, they felt like the world was in, and they wanted to get it off. You know what I'm saying? They probably wasn't even together. They probably just worked together, and it was like epic, you know. And so Origami walking, and he run into Goto, and he just freaks the hell out and like just runs off. And that's when the cop has to chase him. And you know, they looking at him, Goto like, follow me, you know, and they shooting at Goto, and it's not phasing him at all, you know, and he ends up like basically like doing his hand like that, and like all the bullets just came back and shoot all them. He just take them out like in with the quickness he took them out, you know. And you know, Origami, they ended up coming back, and they see, and they like, He's like, I told you, man, look, if we would have stayed over here, we would have been dead too. And then, you know, the little detective that was with him, he was so shook that he wasn't paying attention. Uogami picked up a shotgun and killed him, you know what I'm saying? And like escaped, and you know, so he was free because he was on death row already. So he took the opportunity to kill him and go free, basically. And then we pan back out to the mayor, and you know, he says like a deep speech and just saying how like humans are the parasites, you know what I'm saying? It ain't even the parasites, the humans. Yeah, y'all do, you know, worse shit. Like, look what y'all doing now. And they all just start shooting at him, and it's just so crazy. Like, I'm just like, bro, what? You know, and like, this part shook the hell out of me. It turns out this man wasn't even a parasite. The mayor wasn't a parasite, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't. And like, they basically like killed a human. You know, he just had different beliefs, and it was just crazy. And then Goto pulled up, he was pissed. He was like, man, look, so he killed everybody in there. And it was funny because like, it was this one part where like the remaining squads was like trying to trap him. And like, he just jumped at him and like, and all you see is blood go over. I'm just like, bro, this man is drilling these niggas, bro. I'm just like, damn, you know. And then like, they tried to retreat. The captain was like, yeah, guys, follow me, you know. And they ran up the steps to the roof because he felt like he only had an advantage because he was inside the city hall. So they tried to head to the roof. And when he got to the roof, Goto straight up told him like, dude, you by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing you can do. So he tried to shoot him, he missed, and like Goto just started beating the goofy out of him. And like, it was this one part where he like punched him and he was just like looking at him like that. Like, he was just looking at him, and dude looked shook and like basically just tore him up and like broke his, like snapped his neck, took his head off and like kicked it off the building or whatever. And it landed in the bushes or something. And everybody was just shook behind that. And he jumped off and seen Shinichi, and he was like, hold up, are you the reason for all this? Oh yeah, I gotta kill you, bro. You know, and you know, Shinichi, he shook, he like, bro, you know, Migi told him to bend level, he just didn't listen. And that part was just crazy to me. And we see his weakness, like he's bleeding, like he got 2 wounds, like, you know what I'm saying? Like every other place he got shot in the head and it didn't affect him, but like we see he got shot like in the back, and he was bleeding, so we knew that was his weakness. But he ended up flying off because he was tired, and I guess like he didn't want to keep fighting people because he knew he probably would have died eventually or whatever. So he left and told Shinichi straight up like, I'm gonna kill you when I see you again. And that's Shinichi, you know, he was shook, you know, he was scared. He was walking around, everybody he seen was Goto, so he was just like mentally effed up, and he was gonna die. And that's when he runs into Murano, and you know, they ended up going back to his house, talking it out, and they ended up having sex, you know. You already know my man put it down. She over there talking about, we're supposed to be together, you know. I'm like, yeah, my guy Shinichi put it down, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, after that, he had to leave, like, because he woke up the next day, and Migi was like, look, man, he's looking for us, we gotta go. So they dipped out, and they driving. He following them, and this part was crazy, because, like, they made it to a forest, and Migi told him, like, we can stay separated. But, like, they had a good ass plan, basically. So basically Migi and him separated because he cannot sense Shinichi. He can only sense Migi. So Migi was up in a tree, like, hiding, and like right like when he was trying to kill Migi, that's when Shinichi came in, like, and threw like a wooden stick that was on fire, and like, cause fire, I guess, messing up. I'm not gonna go into deep explanation, but it basically messed up his cells or whatever, and he was like shook for a minute. And then you see Shinichi like come in, finna like slice his neck off, but like his cut was off by a little bit, so he couldn't get his whole head off. And it was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I felt watching it. It's like, oh my god, like, hurry up, get the rest of his head, cut his head off, you know. But he ended up like blocking it, and then Migi was just like, man, look, he failed. Shinichi, get up out of here. You don't have to die, you know. And Shinichi ended up running away, and then we see Migi shrivel up, and it's kind of sad because like when you first meet Migi, he was kind of like, you know, I wouldn't say heartless, but he only cared about himself. But then like he risked his life to save Shinichi, so that character growth right there for Migi is why I love him so much. You know what I'm saying? How you not like Migi, you know? And that's when Shinichi keep running, and he meet up with the old lady. He stayed there for a few days, and he finally get up the courage, and he's like, look, I gotta go kill Goto, man. This man, he took out my guy, you know, I gotta go fight him. And he fight him. And this one part, like, he tried so many times to kill him, but it just didn't work. And like, you just seen like, Goto like, you crazy, you try to hit me with your fist and think that's gonna work? This man like, just punched him in the chest, and it's like, you just see like, him flying through trees, like, like, it just looks so bad. Like, I'm like, damn, this dude bones broken. But basically like, he pulls up on him. Goto pulls up on Shinichi and he finna finish him off. And Shinichi like kind of stabbed him in his weak spot with like this rusted pipe, you know. And we didn't know the pipe had like some like burnt ashes and like chemicals and stuff. So it wasn't, basically it didn't go well with Goto's body because Goto really wasn't feeling it like after that. And he still like what's his name? Shinichi ran away and Goto tried to like stop him and kill him one last time, but like as he was going in for the final kill, Migi like snapped back and kind of like connected with Shinichi's arm again, and it was just crazy because like on his way away from Goto's body, because he fused with him instead of shriveling up and dying, he like was cutting out some vital organs. So like you just seen like Goto's body trying to repair itself, but it couldn't because it was poison and it was just too much going on, and all the hosts that was in his body were trying to get away, and like you just seen like it just popping out his back, and it's just nasty. And I'm just like, this man just exploding. And yeah, Migi saved the day, and like he told Shinichi like, I ain't gonna kill my own kind, you gotta do this one, bro. And that's when he did. And we see you know, he killed the rest of Goto's remains. Then it's a time skip. And, you know, I'm like, okay, in the future we see you know, Shinichi, like an older Shinichi and an older Murano. You know, I'm thinking they finna go picking up a kid or something. You know, I'm thinking this gonna be happily ever after. When I tell you, me and my girlfriend were like, we just couldn't take it at this point because we see Origami coming back. And I'm just like, bro, what? You know, like he had her, you know, he was finna like, he asked him a stupid ass question. Like, am I a monster or whatever? Like, basically, she was gonna die anyway. So, like, he was trying to slit her throat. He started, but Shinichi rushed him and, like, popped on him. And, like, he was like, he had a nice little plan. Like, he popped on him and he was trying to, like, grab Murano with the other arm. But this man barely missed it. She fell off the roof. And I was like, bro, at this point, I'm crying, like, bro, like, why, bro? Like, no, bro, like, no, you know? And, like, I'm just as shook as him. Like, he crying no, and you know, he laying down. I'm just like, bro, I can't even watch this shit no more. How you gonna do this on the last episode? You know, I'm thinking like, y'all fucking me all up, you know. But it turns out we get like a little flashback, and Migi, you know, Migi's still a part of him. He just kind of, I forgot to say, Migi's still a part of him, but he kind of like, before the time skip, he told him he gonna do his own thing. Like, he gonna figure out some other shit. So Migi went away. But basically, Migi's still inside of him, and he grabbed Murano and he told Shinichi, he was like, look, I'm tired of holding her, you gotta grab her now. And then we see that he still has her. And I was just like, thank God, bro. Man, bro, I was finna, like, bro, I wasn't even gonna be able to say I love this show anymore. Like, I mean, it was like, you know, great, you know, all around the board. But it's just like, I'm a romance guy, and like, I wanted a happy ending with them. You know, they've been through a lot, you know, and it just sucked that, like, I thought it was gonna end like that, you know. So I was kind of, you know, real man cry. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, that's the chapter, y'all. I mean, not the chapter. That's the series of Parasyte. You know, it was really good. I thank my friend for recommending me. It was perfect. You know, I loved it. And then that's, you know, the OSTs, the intro, like everything is just good. You know, the pacing. So if y'all haven't seen Parasyte, please go see that. You know what I'm saying? And after you see it, you know, put your friends on Parasyte. And then after that, put your friends on my video, you know, let's just spread the wealth, you know. So it's just, yeah. What I was gonna ask y'all though is, do y'all think y'all would have been able to be in Shinichi's position and not be able to tell nobody and go through that alone? Or do y'all think y'all would have folded and told? And, you know, I mean, really you can't tell because Migi would have killed whoever he told, but it's just like being in that situation, I can only imagine, you know. And I feel for Murano. I love her for being able to ride with him, you know. But yeah, you know, this video already getting too long. It's coming on 45 minutes, so yeah, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. You know, check out my previous videos and hit that notification bell, because I'm gonna be posting on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I mean, Sunday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So, you know, just keep an eye out for me on those days. You know, make room in your schedule for me on those days. But yeah, guys, it's your boy, Big Bro, Justo Todoroki, and I'm out, guys. Peace.